parents of girls with OnlyFans? How did you find out what they do and what was your reaction? I know a guy who said something to the effect of, "I hope my daughter never does that kind of stuff, but if she does, Daddy needs a new car." He should never call himself Daddy when talking about his daughters of. I found out but wasn't too worried since she never sticks with anything longer than a month. And sure enough, I was right. A month later she shut it down. A cousin of mine did it, and when her dad found out he wasn't mad given it paid for her rent. However, he was very upset when he found out she was also working the pole at a strip club a few days a month. Her only response was, "How did he think I paid for the trips I go on?" I can see why any parent would be concerned with strip clubs over of. Strip clubs, in my opinion, has a much higher risk of things going south as opposed to doing your act at home. The trade-off being OnlyFans, your photos are online forever. With a strip club, if you give it up, you could go into a career doing anything and people wouldn't know. I was catching up with a cousin, and he told me he just found out his daughter had an OnlyFans and was working at a strip club. He was very upset, because he said it ruined strip clubs for him, and he couldn't look at the girls the same way, and would never enjoy them again. Otherwise, he didn't really care. I think this is really what the issue is for men. It's all fine and dandy when it's someone else's daughter they're sexualizing, but as soon as they find out their own daughter is being sexualized by other men like him, then it's a problem. Not the parent but the kid here. I make audio norp. It's roleplay where I talk to the listener as if I'm there, instructing them what to do to themselves or me. I started by sending audios to people I was dating and they loved it so much I began selling them. Audio is so much fun because the overhead cost is basically zero. You can do any fantasy or scenario paid for by imagination. Anyways, my mom was incredibly persistent with questions about what I do because she knew I had all this money, but from her view, I never did anything. She was very upset that I had all this free time that I wasn't spending with her. I had my own place and she was certain a man was somehow bankrolling me cause I couldn't possibly take care of myself. I guess in truth, many clients are bankrolling me. I tried to deflect the questions, but one day she cornered me and would not let it go. I finally told her, "I sell audio norp. I spend my days writing and recording and editing scripts. That's where my money comes from and that's where my time goes. Everything about me and my life has been predictably opposite of what she raised me to be. And every time she finds out something new about me that she doesn't like, her response is the same. She pretends we never had the conversation and will frequently bring up the alternative fantasy timeline that she lives in. My friends all know, and it doesn't come up outside of regular work talk venting. Some of them have guest starred in audios out of curiosity. A few have wanted help getting started doing their own, but changed their mind when they saw how much work goes into it. Very few people have seen my account or stage name. My parents have never heard my audios. I work hard to stay anonymous because early on I wasn't careful and had some dangerous encounters with fans who found me. Don't most women not actually make that much from OnlyFans? I imagine now that it's mainstream, it's an incredibly oversaturated market. Yet the comments seem to think that the kids are going to be buying them a new Porsche. I worked with a girl who showed me what she made in 9 months. $72,000. I personally saw this on her. I didn't live in a huge city, and she was definitely not ugly. But she wasn't drop-dead gorgeous either. Average looking with no chin. Her personality was really cool though. All she had on her was professional photos, but she told me she took requests. I don't know what all that entailed or how far she went with requests, as I didn't ask her for details. She was pissed off and said she'd never do it again because when tax season came they screwed her over and she owed a few thousand in taxes. I think she said a little more than $4,000, and she couldn't pay it because she was broke. That's why she got a regular job to pay for her taxes. I was just like, that makes no sense because all you had to do was put money aside for taxes as you get paid, but whatever. I've heard girls much prettier than her say they don't make shit on of, but their personalities were shit. Maybe this one was willing to do things on private videos the others weren't, I don't know. All I know is she made a nice chunk of money off of doing whatever she did. To be fair, was a few years ago though, during the start of pandemic. None of this makes any sense because she would be taxed at a regular job where she makes $72,000. Also, how does she go through all $72,000 in 9 months? LMFAO, that just sounds like poor financial decisions. She went on vacations and bought a car. She was only 22 when I met her, And trust me, that's exactly what I told her. I could hardly keep a straight face. I said if you just do it for 2 more months you'll have your taxes paid and then some which you should put aside when they tax you for those 2 months. But she said, no, they'll just screw me over again. Like nobody screwed you over. You screwed yourself by not planning for taxes. I did OnlyFans for about a year. I was making $1,200 a month for a while before it dropped down to $100 to $200. When I was making $1,200, the site told me I was in the top 12% of earners. When I was making $100 to $200, I was in the top 50%. So yeah, most people aren't making much on there. My now 24-year-old daughter decided to get married at 18 and be a stripper. She was very blatant about it, and said she liked the money and attention. We live in a small Ohio city where people frequent gentlemen's clubs and talk about everyone's business, so there was no hiding it. We found out about her and other services because she has teenage brothers and parents of friends that frequent those sites, and found out. Her brothers have been devastated by the embarrassment of it. While I try to love and support her, it has to be from a distance because socially it's been a very humiliating thing to know that half our county has seen or received services from my daughter, including my husband's uncle who didn't know who she was at the time. I have a hard time looking at men in a good light with this experience and situation of hers. I cried, I blamed myself, I tried to encourage college, I got angry, now I'm just checked out about it. She's willing to put herself out there for an easy lifestyle, and I can't change that. That is the most honest take on how a family member's lifestyle can affect others. Kind of sucks. My daughter accidentally sent the wrong video to the group chat. I am a bit disappointed, but I thought she was selling drugs or something terrible because she always had money but no job. I hope it doesn't have any long-term consequences for any future careers she might want, but at least she is making money and no longer mooching off me, so that's a plus. Don't have an OnlyFans, but I am an erotic hypnotist. My parents know, because I told them. My dad's reaction was slight discomfort, but he's chill with it. My mom's reaction was, "You can't do that, you don't know how," which was odd. Now she just doesn't want to hear anything about it, understandably. Erotic hypnotist, you're really just gonna throw this out there like it requires no explanation? It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm a hypnotist, and I use hypnosis to do erotic things with people. I have a coworker who found out her brother's wife is doing it. The problem is, there are pictures of her kids in the background of some of her content. Understandably, her family is pissed. Not the parent, and I don't currently have any more. But my dad found out because I went to show him something else on my phone and he started swiping through my phone after. Lesson learned for both of us, lol. I hold the phone and he doesn't touch my phone if I show him anything, and I religiously sort all photos into albums so people can only see exactly what I want them to see. He wasn't stoked, but it didn't change our relationship at all, and we mostly don't talk about it. I used to know a girl from an Islamic household who does OnlyFans, and she concealed it from her family because she thought they would disown her. They would indeed disown her. Probably something worse. Honor killings have occurred in Western countries for less. Real answer: depends how religiously and culturally traditional they are. I am a cam girl. Told both my parents when I started back at it actively, because I figured I'd get ahead of the "I'll tell everyone you love what you do." Mom basically went, "Oh, should I go get pearls to clutch?" It definitely bothers her sometime, but I've normalized it a lot by doing things like how stupid writing horny copy is. Seriously, it can be the dumbest shit. And we talk a lot about the photography side. Hello, she's a professional artist and is designing me a logo sort of thing. Dad basically pretends the convo didn't happen, he largely doesn't care. But it make him uncomfortable and he has bigger fish to fry. My kid offered a family discount. How kind, you raised them right. I have read somewhere some dads subscribe to their daughter OnlyFans. Gotta support your kids. I'll tip $20 if you put on that sweater Grandma knitted for you last Christmas. This made me literally laugh out loud. As a dad, this is horrific. I want my kids to grow up to be healthy, functional adults, which means they will have a sex life, and if they want to make money this way, that's their choice. But holy shit, I'd claw my eyes out if I was forced to watch. Why are humans so fucking horrible? I did cam modeling in my early 20s, 10 years ago. And although I took all the precautions to block people from my area, once people found out what I did, they were able to work around it. One night someone leaked a video from a live on Facebook. I was in lingerie, mostly just talking inappropriately. This before Facebook was as locked down as it is today, and there were several comments made about how, wow, her dad must be proud. And eventually someone tagged my dad and he commented saying, "She's 23, she's served our country, she has a career outside of this extra work she does online, and she's a good person. My daughter is wholly independent and confident, just the way I raised her to be. And let's face it, some of you do much worse for free." Daddy-o shut everyone the fuck down. My dad has always been my biggest supporter. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.